Hey guys, welcome to East Coast Brewing, and tonight is brew night. So what are we doing? Well, I had a little surprise come in the mail the other day. Mangrove Jacks sent me a couple kits and asked me to review them on the channel. So how cool is that, right? So what they sent me was, they sent me a Belgian ale, and they sent me a Saison. Right on, hey? Now, I've never brewed a Mangrove Jacks, so I thought, what the heck? So tonight we're going to be doing the Belgian ale. How cool is that? It comes in like this pouch, and it's just a little wort in here, or the hop malt extract is in here. Now, I got to be honest with you, one thing I don't like about the Mangrove Jacks pouches, I was looking at this Belgian Pale Ale, and I'm looking on the back, and there's no flavor profile, like on the front or the back. So I had to go to their website to get the flavor profile on this. So if you were in like a brew shop or something like that, online they have the flavor profile in most online stores. But if you were in like a brew shop or something like that, and you're looking through all this, and you look, okay, Belgian Pale Ale. If you don't really know what a Belgian Pale Ale is, which I gotta be honest with you guys, I really don't, then you might not actually just grab it because there's no flavor profile on here for you to read and see what it tastes like, or see what it's supposed to taste like. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna check out what is a pale ale. But first, we've got to have a home brew. No, I'm not drinking motor oil, even though it's the same color as my hoodie here. This is actually a Mr. Beer American Porter. Check out that video, it should be up on the channel already. Anyways, so yeah, one thing about this I noticed, okay, so this particular kit here, this one does 10 liters, so it only does 10 liters, so roughly around 2.6 gallons, but it comes in at approximately 9 ABV. So I'm like, whoa, that's pretty high, man, for just a pale ale, right? Anything from Belgian, it's going to be pretty high in alcohol, usually. So I looked up what a Belgian pale ale was, and I wrote it down here. It says, a Belgian pale ale is gold to copper in color and can have caramel or toasted malt flavor with notable to low bitterness, little floral aroma from hops, so it doesn't have a huge hop profile. Inspired by British pale ales. Very sessionable. IBUs are low and comes in around 4 to 6%. This one comes in at 9%. So what's that saying to us? You know what that tells me? That tells me that this is probably closer to a Belgian triple. Now, Belgian triple was something that I believe the monks started brewing that, and I think they still brew that today. But anyways, so Belgian triples are spicier, they're higher in ABV, and they're drier. They have a drier finish. Okay. So then I looked up on Mangrove Jacks site to see what the flavor profile of this was. It says, has an initial soft malty sweetness with a toasty, biscuity, nutty malt flavor, which is followed by a orange and pear-like fruitiness and relaxed spicy zest. Spicy zest. So spicy. So I'm thinking that this is kind of a cross between a Belgian pale ale and a Belgian triple. So we're going to brew it up and just see how it turns out. Now, we are going to brew it to the instructions on the Mangrove Jacks pouch here, because we want to do a proper review of it. So the only thing that this requires is 500 grams of dextrose. That's it. So it's going to be a pretty simple brew. So we're going to brew it up. But one thing I thought was really cool when I was looking up the Mangrove Jacks stuff is it says here, cold filtered packaging technology helps to retain the unique malt flavors and aromas of this kit. And it says here, it says Mangrove Jacks beer pouches use cold filtering nitrogen flushing technology to ensure the malt remains fresh and full of flavor and aroma. This gives you the opportunity to brew a higher quality beer than you would from a traditional canned beer kit product. So I'm pretty excited to try this to see how does it compare, right? So yeah, like I said, it comes in at 9% ABV. The IBUs are international bittering units, if you're not sure what that is. So it's 22 to 28, so not crazy bitter. Now the final gravity on this is 1.004. We're going to do a reading just because we're going to calculate exactly what this comes out at. And yeah, final volume, you make 10 liters, so it's not going to be a huge batch. Optimal fermenting temperature is around 68 to 82, so pretty standard stuff. So let's get started. The first thing I got to do is we got to boil up, as it says on here, 1.3 liters of water, and then we're going to get it all mixed up. All right, I'll go get that water and I'll be right back. Okay guys, we've got our water boiled up and we're ready to rock and roll. I'm using my old original fermenting bucket for this one because the Mr. Beer kegs that I have, I thought I would use one of those, but they're a 2-gallon barrel. This requires a 2.6 gallon or 10 liter ferment, so I'm going to use this old bucket that I have. We're going to fill it up to the 10 liters and go from there. So I got the water boiled, so we're ready to go. What's next? Gotta have some home brew. That's good stuff. All right. So first thing we're going to do is, you know what? Actually, the instructions say, and we're doing it by the instructions because we're doing a review here, is to put the extract into the bucket first. So let's go ahead and do that. Now I don't know how messy this bucket or this pouch is going to be. By the way, I sanitized my equipment here, the scissors, the bucket, my stirring spoon, and everything with Star San. Okay. Man, I'm looking pasty. Yeah, you've probably seen a few other videos with me looking pasty too. It's the lighting. I'm getting some lighting. I know. Okay, let's see. All right, here we go. Let's see how this works out. These pouches. Woo! That is thick. Right on. Now they said you can rinse it out with warm water, but I've also heard that you can just kind of take it like a toothpaste and just work it to get it all out, right? So you just kind of start folding it over like this as you're dumping it in, see? Don't worry, I'm going to bring you guys up to show you what this looks like when we get it all mixed up, okay? So just keep on rolling the pouch. Guaranteed you're pretty much getting most of it. Just like that. Oh yeah, there's the rest of it. See? It's kind of a neat concept. I'm pretty excited to check out how this tastes with that process that they use in order to keep everything fresh, as opposed to, like they say, as opposed to canned. Alright, that's, whoop, got a little bit on the finger. You always got to give it a taste. That's good. Alright, I gotta find somewhere to put this. It's not going to make a mess. Oh well, we'll just set it right there. Alright, next is your hot water. You know what we'll do? We'll put the extract pouch on top of the lid there, and it'll make a mess. So we got 1.3 liters of boiling water. There we go. And then 500 grams of good old dextrose. You guys see that? There you go. Throw that all in there. Boom. Just like that. And then you want to get it all mixed up with your sanitized spoon. There we go. So we're going to start mixing this up. So I'm going to get this all mixed up, guys. And, well, you know what? You guys can hang out while I do that. I usually try not to make these videos as too long because some videos are just way too long. And there's a lot of pointless stuff going on, right? So this seems to be mixing up pretty good. Because you want to get it all off the bottom. That's why I don't know if I 100% agree with putting the malt extract in first and then your hot water. I'm thinking maybe they say not, you know, I usually do my hot water and then malt extract, but maybe they do that because they don't want you to scorch your fermenting bucket or whatever. Because boiling hot water on the fermenting bucket, I guess it could warp it maybe. I don't know. Okay, that is mixed up. It's smelling good too. Here, I'm gonna bring you guys in for it. My head's cut off, I know. I gotta get a better setup. Okay, here you go. Here she is. That's our water, malt extract, and our dextrose. Okay, so you know what I'm going to do now? I'm going to go get more cold water, and I'm going to top it up to the 10-liter mark, and then we're going to take a hydrometer reading. All right, my homies, we're just about out of beer. Thank goodness there's more home brew in the fridge. All right, I've topped this up to the 10-liter mark on the old bucket here, and we're going to take a hydrometer reading. Just to see where she starts out at. I might have to let this settle down a bit. As you can see, it foamed up there. But, I mean, color-wise, yeah, it's going to be pretty pale. It's pale ale, right? So I might not get to the actual reading until the next part of the video. This is going to be a all brew video. We're going to brew it up, bottle it, taste it, all that stuff. So I'll let you guys know what that starts off at. And then we'll do a final one as well and see how close we get to that 9% mark that they're talking about. But anyways, okay, next thing we want to do, we've got this mixed up, and you know what I did? I vigorously mixed this to get some oxygen in there because the yeast love that stuff. Next thing we want to do is, well, we want to pitch our yeast, but I was thinking of something else we still, oh, duh, we got to take a temperature reading. See, a lot of my other buckets, yeah, you can't see that. A lot of my other buckets, I have a temperature gauge on the outside. This is my old bucket. Like I said, this is my original bucket that I started brewing with like years ago. And I just pulled it out for this one. I haven't used it in years. But anyways, it doesn't have one, so I've got my thermometer that I use for when we do all grain brewing. So we're going to take a temperature reading. See where we're at. We are at around the 70-ish mark, so you know what? We're going to go ahead and pitch this yeast. Just waiting. Actually, no, that's not quite right. Sometimes with these thermometers, you got to let them sit in there for a bit. Unfortunately, I have to hold this one because it'll just flop in there, but so I do apologize for the having you guys sit around here while I take a temperature, right? Anyway, I'm excited to try this one. You know, I'm going to see what happens. And this one here, we're not doing any like secondary fermentation. It doesn't say anything about that on the instructions, so it's just going to be, I've got a spigot on this bucket, so we're just going to go ahead and bottle it. Yeah, in 10 days. In 10 days, we're going to take a hydrometer reading. If it's sitting at the 1004 or below, that's when we're going to bottle. Okay, that's what it says on the instructions, so that's what we're going to do. All right, see what we got here. Yeah, we're sitting around the 70 mark, so we're going to go ahead and pitch that yeast, and away we go. All right. So, and this here, kind of cool thing is it does come with a Belgian yeast, Belgian ale yeast. So I'm going to go ahead and pitch that in there. All right. It says on the instructions to mix it in, so that's what we're going to do. Just going to gently mix it in, okay? There you go. We're ready to go. Now, a lot of guys tell you need to actually have a airlock on your fermenter. Boom, that's all you need. Just a loose lid, as long as it's sealed. Like, what I mean by sealed is you allow it to burp. So what's going to happen when this is fermenting is gases are going to escape, but it's not going to let anything back in because it's going to burp. Boom, gases are coming out, no oxygen's coming back in. Okay, that's how that goes. So we'll be back to do the bottling and the taste test. All right, cheers. Hey guys, what's up? It is time to bottle this Belgian Pale Ale. But before we get started with that, we've got to have a home brew. I got myself a nice Mr. Beer Long Play IPA. I brewed this one up. I didn't actually do it on the channel because I'd done a Long Play IPA on the channel. But I did this one straight up, just the can. That's it, and it turned out pretty damn good. It's not very hoppy, but it's pretty good. That's good stuff. All right. So what are we doing? So here's the thing. This Belgian Pale Ale, like I said, I think it's more of a Belgian triple because, I mean, it's 9%. I did the calculations. I took a starting reading of, I think it was 1.073 or 1.070. I can't remember. But anyway, it was one of those two. And it fermented out to 1.004. Excuse me. So what that comes out to is roughly around 9%. So that's huge. So when I was testing it, I actually tried a bit of it, and yeah, it's pretty boozy, man. It almost tastes a little bit like a barley wine in a way. But anyways, we're gonna do the final taste test after we're done bottling this stuff. So it's been 14 days and it's ready to bottle. It's actually in this one. This one here's a New England IPA that we have on the go, but ours is in this one that we're doing today. So first thing we're gonna do, we are, because these are 9%, guys, you've probably been, if you've been watching the channel, you guys will notice that I usually use those 740 to 750 milliliter bottles. Well, these ones actually, right here. And they're bigger. I'm actually using 1 pint bottles for this batch, so 500 milliliters. And the reason being is because if you were to drink one of those 740, 750 of this in one sitting, you know, you're gonna get pretty drunk pretty fast. So I thought, you know what, these are just nice little, you know, nice little size to put a high alcohol beer in. So that's what we're gonna do. So first things, I don't know if you can see that, probably not. Okay. So we got our funnel, and for this size bottle, we're gonna prime it with 1 teaspoon of dextrose, just like that. 1 teaspoon of dextrose. And then, you guys probably can't see this, but we're just gonna start filling up the bottles, just like this. Ooh, that one spilled a little bit over. Okay, and then we're just gonna cap them. We're gonna let them condition for a couple of weeks, and then we're gonna be back to give them a taste test. All right, I'll see you then. All right, welcome back, guys. What's happening? It's time to try this Belgian Pale Ale from Mangrove Jacks. Now, it's been 3 weeks. I let it condition for 3 weeks. So I let it condition kind of room temperature for 2 weeks, and then I just stored it in a cool place, like maybe, you know, 55, 60 kind of thing. And then I chilled it in the fridge for a day, and we're gonna see what happens. We're gonna take it for a spin and see what happens. Now, it came in at 9%, so it's a pretty heavy beer. Yeah. So yeah, let's open her up, see if there's some carbonation. Seems to have some carbonation. Now remember, we use these small bottles because you know, it's a heavier beer. I'd probably be sitting on my ass if I drank one of those big bottles. Give it a pour. All right. Okay, color-wise, beautiful, beautiful color. I don't have my flashlight with me, so I'd give it a flashlight test. It's got that golden pale ale color. I mean, it is, as you can see, it is a little cloudy, so it's got a little bit of chill haze to it. Little bit of a head. Maybe it'll get a little bit more once the, you know, it's conditioned a little bit longer. But yeah, it's got a little bit of a haze to it. That might clear up. We'll see. No big deal anyways, right? Ooh. Honestly, to me, it smells a little bit like a barley wine. But I'm getting definitely malty. I did a little bit of the fruity, because it said something about orange and pear-like. Definitely getting that for sure. Let's take it for a spin and see what happens. Cheers. Hold on. Okay, so the carbonation's right where it needs to be. It's beautiful. There's nice bubbles coming up. You can't really see them there because of the haze, and that's a little bit further away, but pretty good. Getting a little bit of that toasty, biscuity flavor that was talked about in the flavor profile. Not nutty at all, though. Definitely getting that sort of Finnish fruity flavor. I'm not sure if it's like an orange or a pear like it says in there, but you can definitely get that fruity flavor finishing. It says it finishes with a zesty spice. I don't know if you'd call it a spice. It's more like a hit of alcohol. That's really what it is. It's not spicy. It's like, hey, you're going to get some booze at the end of this bad boy. And that's exactly what you get at 9%. It is really good, though. Would I rate this one? Well, you know what? Honestly, out of 10, probably give it about a 7.5. I might rate it a little bit higher if it conditions a little bit longer. But you know what? I'm just stoked that Mangrove Jacks sent this to me to review. Oh, pardon me. And you know what? It is really good. I would brew this again for sure, and I would recommend people to brew it for sure. Would I add anything to it? I don't think I would. No, I think you'd probably ruin it. I think all the flavors blend, and it's well balanced. So, you know, the only thing the drawback is it's a little bit hazier than I would like to see out of a pale ale. But you know what? That could be just it needs to condition a little bit longer. That's all. Or it could have been that bucket that I used, because the spigot on that bucket is a little bit lower than it should be. We could have sucked more sediment into our bottling when we did that. So it could be my fault. So anyway, that's Mangrove Jack's Belgian Pale Ale that really kind of more resembles to me a barley wine or a Belgian triple. So that's that. What are we going to be doing next? Hey, keep an eye out on the channel for the New England IPA that we are doing. It's it is a partial extract, so we're going to be doing some grain brewing in that one, and it's going to be good. It's going to be awesome, I think. And I'm also going to be doing the other one that Mangrove Jacks sent, which is a saison. So we're going to talk about the saison and how you brew it, because you have to brew this one just a little bit different. It is still just an extract kit, but you got to brew it just a little bit different, and we'll talk about that when we get to that one. So, as always, like, comment, subscribe, you know, all helps me out and all that good stuff. And I appreciate you watching. Thumbs up, whatever. We'll see you next time. Cheers.